Welcome to the show, guys. How you guys all doing? Everybody's okay, I hope. Let's get into this, right? Let's move this over. Let's move all of this. So, Vision, Net. I'm just going to say Vision. It's easier. The name's a bit complicated. He asked me a question. Actually, he was talking about something the other day as well. And he mentioned how we could actually see a 45k bottom or something, I remember. And so he's come back today. He said, last week, I remember I told you we're going to come down when so that's what he was talking about. And I said, love you, bro. Awesome. But obviously I made a video regards to that as well. I'm not sure if Vision actually watched that, but we're going to go all over this again because it's awesome, right? It's awesome. I mean, we're in crypto. We love crypto, right? So we're going to talk about all of this. Now let's move into all of this. And I want you all to observe this chart. Just observe this chart. Nothing more. Just observe this chart. And tell me what you see here. If you see, right, anything, because I'm not on a crypto chart. I'm absolutely not on a crypto chart at all. Look carefully here. We're on the S&P 500. And I can show you the same thing on Dow Jones and everything as well. It's the same story. So, I mean, obviously we're crypto channel, so we're going to talk more about crypto, but there's a lot more going on here, right? And we've done these kind of deep analysis. Actually, yesterday's video, I mentioned a few things, plus I actually pinned those videos here as well when we look at the deep analysis. So we did some deep analysis yesterday, well, not yesterday, quite some time ago. And I left all of this there. Plus, I actually posted something here. 21st of September is a full moon, right, in the UK. So I kind of posted that as well. And I'm not superstitious. Hey, Matt, I lost 20 grand so far. Mad. Why are you trading? Do not trade, bro. Do not trade. Okay, this is not the time to be trading. I'm telling you. So, I've been telling everyone, do not leverage trade. It's the worst thing you could do in this market, because look at this. Like when we're looking at the crypto market, what you're seeing is these big culprits here, these big boys here. A lot of people are assuming these markets are going to all go up. They are, of course, they are going to go up, but not yet. We're not ready for it. I've mentioned to everybody that I'm not even opening a trade myself until we go back to the 58k, right? Because 58k is a key level for us, and I'll take you into this to understand, right? So you can see these 9 coins are the biggest culprits. What's been wrecking people, and so far, people, you can see $1.24 billion has been wrecked. You don't want to be leverage trading, right? This is the previous one we had, which we had a $3.22 billion wreckage. And then this is today close to 1 billion. Obviously it's not updated. Let me update this and we might get a different number. Let's have a look. Here you go, $1.13 billion. And you can see most of this, excuse me, my Google thingy decided to get up. Most of this has been happening on a shorter time frame. If you look carefully, right, this has been happening on a very shorter time frame. So over 24 hours obviously calculates, but has been happening on a shorter time frame. We had a similar situation. You can see here, this was a few hours ago, and you can see everyone's trying to jump in and revenge trade. It's like, guys, don't do this. Have your risk management. When you open your trade, you should have your stop loss, and your stop loss shouldn't be too far. So if you are trading $1,000, be prepared to lose like $100, and don't over leverage yourself. That way you've still got 90% remaining to replay the market, but let the market do what it needs to do. If it needs to bleed out, let it bleed out, right? And then you buy the dip. So earlier on today, actually, brother KR, he mentioned something to me, and he was like, he was going to buy the dip, and I said, just watch the video before you buy the dip, right? Because buying the dip is an awesome thing. I'm not doing anything right now. I've got enough. I've got a lovely little stash. I'm just going to hodl that stash and see where it goes from there. But you can see that these are 30-minute candles, and you can see one of the biggest ones we've had was actually just in this 30-minute region. So you need to really understand what's going on. But what I've obviously, for me, I want to understand what the entire market is doing. So when we look at crypto, we are usually kind of narrow-minded. We're only thinking about crypto. We kind of forget the gold, forget the S&P 500s and all of that, right? But we don't want to. We want to look at the global market. What's the global market doing? And what you can see here, the global market is doing exactly the same thing. It is also dumping. And I want to take you into a higher time frame to show you a few other bits and bobs that are very important. So this is September, as you can see. And if I move back to the previous September, look, we still had a dump, right? So you can see it's got, forget the March, forget all of this, right? September months are usually like this, and we can move back in time and we can see May, August, September. Here's another September, which was a higher low, but ultimately what you're seeing is these September months are actually you know, a dump month pretty much, right? But what happens after the September months? Usually we get a lovely little pump. Obviously this is the March dump, which we're going to ignore, but this is the kind of a way, the waves we see, the movements we see, and I'll show you a chart that I've shown you 1 or 2 times on this video, on this channel, and you'll understand, right? So one thing you have to observe here, this is very important. So this is S&P 500, and S&P 500 has been flashing hot on the RSI for some time. Look, it's saying, guys, we have to go down. That means S&P 500 wants to crash, right? So when we're looking at these numbers and these datas, it's very important, right, to kind of take that in relation to the actual crypto market and say, well, what's the crypto market doing? Well, pretty much the same thing. Where are we right now? If we go on a monthly, we can see we're in a month of September, and if we track those months of September, and this is a September, as you can see here, for example, here's another September. So what you see is these September months, we do dump. Traditionally, we do dump, right? So it doesn't matter where you are in time, even in a bear market, in a bull market, even in a bear market, it's actually worse, right? So you have a bear market and it pushes it down even further. But in a bull run, we do get these months absolutely fine, right? So as long as the momentum and the trend is up, we should be fine, guys. We should be fine. So let's have a look at other stuff. Now let's move into what I've actually set up for you guys. So I actually woke up, no joke, you won't believe it. I haven't brushed my hair, I haven't done nothing. I've just literally gone and brushed my teeth, had a coffee, and I've made another coffee for myself while I was actually playing the intro. And I'm sitting here right now, and I just sat down and made all of this for you, which I've never done before, but I had to do this because it's very, very important. So I've marked every single September on this chart on a monthly. Right, so we've got this monthly September thing going on here, right? So, you know, September frenzy, we're going to call it. So obviously some of these data we should not be using, like from the 10th of, the 2010. This data is not really that accurate because obviously this was the beginning of the market, and also this is the only currency, like at that time was only Bitcoin, nothing else, right? So what you're seeing is obviously September month comes in and we have a dump. Okay, fine. We see another September month and then we see a nice little pump. But what I want to show you is these green boxes, actually very important green boxes. So when you see momentum moving up, when you see the market is trending upwards, right? So when the market is trending upwards and we have this on a September, well, usually we have these massive pumps, and I was calculating these pumps and I was like, okay, how long do these pumps really continue for, right? And what you see here is on some, I mean, forget the percentage, right, guys? There's no point looking at the percentage, just looking at the momentum, right? The momentum usually is when it starts. So you have this lovely little, you know, dump here on an upward trend. After that, you see these massive moves, massive moves, right? And then we come back, you know, and we kind of go sideways. This is monthly, by the way. We go sideways, and then you see this, and then you see this parabolic move. That's when the market topped out. Absolutely fine by us, right? So then we observe in a bear market, what does it do? It pushes it down even further. So we see this opposite effect, right? Where in a bear market, it pushes it even further. That means if we're in a bear market and it was a month of September, just hodl, sit tight, keep your cash. And this is where KR, I'm talking about you as well, right? So you sit back, you observe, are we in a bear market? And if we are in a bear market, you pick up the bottom. And to observe the bottom, all you got to do is activate your Bitcoin log growth chart, right? Because I told you, remember, we can use this as an indicator for us, right? For the market tops and market bottoms, right? So if we do see this, right, around these levels and we think the market's going to go down, then you sit with your cash to pick it up around here. That's your best buy, right? So every time you can see this, like, if we ignore this, we'll ignore this area, but this is what we're seeing. So this is in 2015, right? Okay. And then you can see here, for example, we've had 1 September, 2 September, 3 Septembers, right? Doesn't matter. And this was the longest ever bull run we've ever had in history of Bitcoin. The longest ever bull run. The one we've got currently technically is a similar thing. This is why we do find similarities, right? So this 2015 one, you can see this September 2015. Coincidentally, this September 2015 was the low of the season. And then that's when the bull run started, right? So the official bull run started here. Okay, and it pushed all the way to 2017 December, almost 2018, right? Lovely little bull run here, right? So this is what we saw. Now, you can see in the bear market, when we do push down, we do come back down to these lines. In a bear market, we come back to this line. So if we're in a bear market, what you need to be doing is holding on to your cash. That's the key here, right? You know, and this is where we are right now. Now, the similarities that I found was, if you look carefully at this median line, so this middle level here, right? So this median line here, if you carefully look at these median lines here, well, this is where we are right now on a September. This is where we were on another September when we went bearish. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, this is where we were. And then if you look carefully back in time, I'm not looking at the bullish ones, I'm looking at the bearish ones. Look carefully. It's always at that median line. What a coincidence, right? Median line. So, and even this one, for example, a median line. Isn't that insane that we've got a data point flashing that we've always been on a worst case scenario, on the bad September, like anything bearish September, we've always been in this median line. So I want you to take note of this. Look, median line. What does that indicate to us? That, okay, there's pattern. History doesn't repeat, but history does rhyme. And you can see it's rhyming perfectly here. Now, I want to show you another thing here, for example. And this is the one that we're going to use, right? So we've got this particular candle here. You can barely see it. There's, look, blue one here. You can barely see it. It's there. It was a super bullish one. But this was the only one that was below the line, but did push back up. And that's when we went parabolic. We didn't really last that long, right? So I was looking at some of these and I was saying, okay, these are on the line or below the line, right? But around that median line. Even this one's around the median line, by the way, right? But because the momentum was still up, it still pushed up and it confirms. And this is the 2013, right? We did that. Can we see a repeat of this, right? And then the rest of them, as you can see, as I said, like what it's doing. So you either see them on the top or you see them on the bottom, but either way, it will push it down or push it up, right? So this is a crucial month for us to observe, right? Here, for example, we were on the line and then we pushed up, and you can see how the wick formed on the bottom, how bullish it was, but it was more like, I think it was at the end of the month, so you can have a look and see what it really did. How did it manage to push up so much, right? So it was pretty much the last, so the first 2 weeks, it wasn't even the last weeks, it was actually the first 2 weeks here where we pushed up, right? So when we're looking at this, you can see the first 2 weeks was actually the scenario, and then the last one just pushed it back up again, right? So we can see these data points, and these are all awesome for us to see and observe. And this is where we are right now. Now, remember, for vision, I've told you the other day as well, I said, bro, if you look carefully, I have said that we could expect to see something as low as 19k based on another chart that I did already, and those numbers are still valid, they're not invalidated, right? And I'll move you into another chart just to kind of show you something. Let me show you this chart here, right? So this is another chart. I've just modified it. Remember, it had like these yellow boxes on it. I've just kind of took those boxes off because they're not really relevant at the moment. For us, what's more relevant is looking at the maths and looking at where we are right now. And I've specifically mentioned a few bits and bobs here, right? So here I've updated this yesterday, so I just want to make everybody understand that, look, previously obviously we've had all of this data that's still there. Just the yellow boxes I've taken away and cleaned it up a little bit. And I said, this was something I was forwarding to one of my clients yesterday, and I said, look, worst case scenario, the low we can expect is around this Fibonacci 0618 level, right, which is actually this support range. So we've got the top of the support range and the bottom of the support range, and this is a weekly support range. So this was not even done on a daily, this was actually done on a weekly to find exactly where we could find support, because we need to know, right? And if you look, funnily, this is exactly where we bounced. Now, you might see one yellow line here. That yellow line is actually for the 24th of September, which is another options expiry date. So I've also plotted this 24th of September here, obviously showing up differently. So if we go into the daily, you can see this 24th of September is sitting here. But when you look at this, you can see that how this weekly support range we've had was actually originally a resistance, right? Way back here in, where was it? January. So if you are looking, this is January, then you can see here we've had it in June. So when we see these kind of strong support and strong resistance ranges, we understand that, okay, the market will try to respect these as much as possible. So yesterday's video I mentioned, I said, just let it do what it wants to do, because ultimately it doesn't matter, right? Now, some people would say, oh, usually September month is very bearish. Yeah, and what? but that's about it. That's not how we want to go about things. We want to understand it more. Well, if it's bearish, is it bearish just for us? Is it bearish just for crypto, or is it bearish for everybody? And here we can see it's bearish for everybody, right? When we start going into Dow, right, we can see the same story. It's bearish for everybody. It's not just us. So the entire global market is actually reacting to this. Remember, Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the big ones, the big stocks, right? They're all doing this. All the index funds are actually dumping right now, today, and they do it every single September. Now, what happens after they dump? Usually you can see that later on they start pumping. So here we can see October was still a dump, and then November they started picking up, right? When we go back into the S&P 500, hold on, SPX, right? You can see the same story pretty much, right? So they were down in where is it? Here, September they were down, October they were down, and then they reversed in November. So we can see this, right? And it doesn't matter if you go back in time. Look, the curve, you know, ultimately it's there. These are flash crashes which we've had. Like this is the 2009 or 8 crash that we've had. So I'm gonna ignore all of this because Bitcoin was incepted around here. Remember, Bitcoin came around here, but ultimately you're seeing this crazy pump here, and the whole market's reacting the same way, guys. The whole market, it's not about crypto. Entire financial markets are doing this because remember, we have been printing money 24/7, you know, for almost a year now, and there are banks out there who are not stopping. You know, there's been the Federal Reserve, one of the guys from there, he came out and he said, we have the power to continue to print. We're going to print ourselves out of debt. So when you hear stuff like this, you understand how much money is being printed in. And obviously, when it comes to big institutions, and we're talking about the S&P 500, they're going to take that money at very low interest and they're going to pump it back into the market. And that's what they're doing, because you take money and you make more money, right? So that's what they're doing. Nobody's taking the money and going and buying a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. No. They're taking the money and they're making more money with it. Free money, use the free money to make more money. So that's what's going on. I hope all of this kind of makes sense. And Vision, I hope it makes sense to you that, look, I have made a video and actually kind of pointed it to you as well. And I said, Vision, look, 45 is not the bottom, right? If you look at the data points that we got, and I think I can show it here. Give me a second. Yeah. If you look at the data points, and I've had this on the chart already, and I've mentioned all of this as well. And I said, look, the range I'm seeing is about 24 to this, well, currently 21, but there is another chart with 19k on it, which will actually make sense to you. And that's what I'm seeing right now for the market bottom, right? Because that's how we see these waves. And talking about waves, I want to bring some waves in. Actually, before I go to the waves, let's just do the weekly on this one. So weekly HMA, you may have noticed 3 or 4 video ago, probably a little bit more, I did mention that, look, we may come back to test this 50 week moving average. I have mentioned this, right? And I hope it kind of makes sense. Look, we were looking at the 104 week here, we bounced, we came bearish, and we're coming down here. And remember the RSI, my bad, sorry. Right, remember the RSI has been constantly flashing for us as well and telling us, and I'll take this off, RSI has been flashing and telling us that it's going to come down, especially the stochastic RSI. This is the trading sentiment and this is the people sentiment. So when trading sentiment is showing bearish, it means the bears are in control. We want to stay out, you know what I mean? So this is what I was saying. If you look at a higher time frame, you can see that we are at risk at this present moment. Obviously, when you look at daily, things were showing here, for example, things were very bullish, and we did go bullish, we did pump a little bit, but then with the bullish sentiment changed and we're back into this zone. Now, what does this zone mean to us on a daily? This actually means this is the perfect buying zone, right? Folknem, hi bro, hi. By the way, guys, thank you all for coming to the show. I hope this you find information helpful here, but thank you very much for coming over, guys. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe. It does support the channel. Obviously we grow the channel together. Hit that like button, and let's let the world know that we're here. Is it time to buy? Well, we're getting to this, right? So you see this level here, this says on a daily level it's the perfect time to buy, right? But this is only if you are one of those who are dollar cost averaging in. I would say this is obviously the best time to buy. Now, I'm going to drop a bombshell here and I say, don't buy, right? Don't buy, because look at the weekly RSI, right, it's indicating it's going to go down even further. So if it goes down even further, and if you can be patient, then I would say give it another week. Give it at least one more week. Give it until next Friday, right, to see what it does. I think next Friday, Saturday would be a key time, or even a Monday would be a great time to actually pick up. Let this week complete. That's what I'm saying. So let this week complete, because all of this is showing that we've got a lot of room to go down. So I think we might come back down, right, and test those bottom zones. And when we're talking about zones, what zones are we talking about, right? So you see here, for example, this is our weekly support range, the red box, right? You can see this red box. Let me bring it over here. So you can see this red box. This is where we have come down now. I think we might hover around here, move sideways a little bit before we do the movement. And I'll show you the pattern, because I've already drawn the pattern. So I'll show you the pattern. So what I'm thinking right now. So this is what's going to happen. But we do have a potential to sink into this. And remember, these areas are like quicksand. So when we do come down, we can get sucked in. And if we do get sucked in, we can come back to this bottom range, which is the $37,000, $38,000. So you see this range is quite a big, significant range, $42,000 to $38,000. Now, you know about this little triangle, red triangle, this triangle here that I've had for some time, and I'll show you what I mean. So this triangle here, I've had this here for some time now, and ultimately this is still our downward trend line, which we can actually hold and find resistance there, right, support there. So we might actually see a pattern that brings us back down all the way up here. So this is how high our risk could be. So the worst case scenario could bring us to the $36,000 level again. Right, so even then we might have this 36, and then we push up. So this is what I'm saying. Just be patient. If you do want to buy, if you're dollar cost averaging in, of course, buying on a daily candle, not a problem. But if you're not, then if you're patient, just wait for this RSI to come down a little bit more, possibly even into these zones, and then pick it up, right? So that's how you know that, okay, this dip is not over. It's not about just FOMOing in today, and FOMOing in a good way, right? You know, buy the dip, buy the dip. Of course, this is a great opportunity to buy the dip. Maybe we might reverse back here, but now that we've fallen below this trend line, and this is an important trend line as well. Remember, every data point here is important. So this is indicating that we might come down a little bit more until the 24th, and then start doing a pump. Because right now, no point pumping before the 24th, right? It's actually better to start pumping after the 24th. And I think that's what's going to happen right now. So we're going to wait for all of this, right? Just be patient, all right? Be calm. If you already got some, hold on to it. So, you know, also on this data, I want to show you one other thing as well. If you look at this on a daily, the golden cross and this and that, remember, I mentioned this as well. I said, look, everybody knows about the golden cross. You know, when you've got news like this, global news, where everybody's expecting something, well, guess what the market does? The complete opposite. The market will always do what you are not expecting. So you have to be prepared and expect the unexpected. So for me, this golden cross, nothing. I made a video on that same day, I believe, and I said, guys, Bitcoin is looking bearish. So for me, you may have seen my videos for the last few weeks where I haven't changed my sentiment. I said, look, it's looking bearish, and I'm stating the facts. I'm like, look at the data. The daily looks bullish, but the weekly looks bad. Right? So when we're looking at all of this, you can see the higher time frames are giving us more. Remember, the longer the data, the stronger the data. So the longer data is saying, no, we're coming down. You are coming down. However, and it gets even better, even more longer data, which is the monthly, is indicating we're getting set up for a lovely little power move. Now, when we start talking about power moves, we want to have a look at these candles and see what these power moves mean. So for example, you can see we were down here, right, up to May. And then you see this, when we flip this blue line in May 2020, we went parabolic until May 2021. How about this, right? So you can see how this power move, monthly power move, took us from one May to another May, right? And if we just do the maths on this, right, it gets really, really crazy. So from this May to that May, how many percentage did we do? I just want to see the percentage before I do anything. So we did 700%, just say 700%. So we did a nice little 700% pump here from one May to another May, right? And then we had this relaxation periods where we're relaxing a little bit, right? But we didn't dump back down here. That's the good news for us. So we need to observe this good news and say, well, that's the great news for us. We didn't dump all the way back down, And if we're here, then what can we see? We can probably have another little pump here. So if this comes back, I'm seeing another leg up. And talking about legs, I need to move over to that chart so I can show you. So leave all of this, that's fine. Let's move over to legs and show you what I mean by legs, right? I'm sure I've got it here. Let me see if I can find that chart here. Okay, sorry, I'm on the wrong time frame. I need to go on a daily for this one. Let's see, which one is this? Nope. Oh, how am I supposed to see anything? So which one was it? Not this one. Not this one. This one obviously was something we were talking about, the bull flag. Unfortunately, the bull flag didn't work. So we were looking at the weekly bull flag. It didn't work. It came down. However, you can see just as a nice little demonstration, you can see here, or even on a daily, how these boxes and these resistance and support levels were respected exactly. How we went all the way up to the top line, we got rejected. How we're now bouncing on this bottom line. All of this means that basically if we are to continue, we're going to now come back, reverse all of this and try and test this again. If we can test this again, we should be awesome. If we can't test it, then we're coming back down here and we're probably breaking down. So again, all of this on a shorter time frame, you know, you can see that anything is possible. I feel like I'm watching a YouTube video. But you are watching YouTube, aren't you? I believe you are, right? You are on YouTube, because I know I'm on YouTube. Bro, you make me laugh, man. Okay, so that's what we're seeing, right? So this is the pattern we're seeing, but that's not the pattern I'm looking for. I want to show you something else, because there's a pattern that's been there. Oh yeah, there is. There is, guys. There is. Look. So we drew this for our Elliott wave pattern. So our Elliott wave theory, let me get rid of this and let me get rid of this and keep this chart clean, right? So this was the Elliott wave theory that we had, and this is all mathematically done. And I actually did post the links on Discord about this. So join the Discord if you can. That would really make you understand what this channel is more about, or how I think and what I do, right? So remember, most of the stuff that I do here are not my opinions. They're just mathematical calculations that we do based with Fibonacci's and whatnot, right? So based on this, remember, we were talking about Elliott wave 1 2 3 4 5 and then A B C D E. So I done this drawing, and I've done this drawing before all of this existed, right? And I said, and we did it somewhere around here. So we did this drawing and we did a projection, and on the projection we said, look, based on the Fibonacci levels, we should be coming and touching this. Funnily we did. So let me adjust this a little bit, right? So I'm doing this adjustment on the video, and then according to this, we need to come down. So wave 1 was going up, wave 2 needs to come down, and look, wave 2 is coming down, right? How far can it go? Well, we've mentioned 36 already. If you look carefully, we've already mentioned 36. So this was all done on a video few months ago, I believe. I'm sure it's on the thing. You can go and find it, Elliott wave theory, how this works. My title may not be the best, but it's definitely there. So we mentioned how we could come all the way down to 36, but what happens after we come down there? Well, we do wave 3. Now Elliott wave 3 is the most powerful wave. It's the one that goes ballistic, right? The one that gives you the best gains. That's what we would see next. So if everybody's patient, I think the next move will surprise everybody, you know. And I know a lot of people are going to go insane about this, going to go nuts, right? It's like, what the hell is going on? You know, probably even hit that 100k mark. But remember, before we hit that 100k mark, guys, we've got a long way to go. I'm not, you know, going to go insane on that and say, oh, guys, we might actually jump all the way to 120, 30k. Not yet. We got to meet the targets before we do anything. So when we look at those, so I hope this kind of makes sense to you. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I did a whole video on it, right, guys? How the Elliott waves, and I actually drew this on the video, live on the video. So please go and watch that video. And if I can find the link, I'll post it. And if any one of you can find the link, please post it to Discord. That would be really awesome. Let's move over to another chart I want to show you. Hold on one second. Here, right? So when we're talking about targets and levels and everything, right, this is a very important chart. It's actually even pinned on the Discord group, and this is what we talk about targets. We've got these multiple targets we need to break. So you can see how this $60,000 level, we have to break that. We have to go back to the 65 and then go above in order to be ultra bullish. And then after that, our new target would be 70,000. So we take it in steps. We don't just jump all the way from 50 to 70 or 80 or 100 like this. No. We take things in step. We go to the level, then we meet the next level. And that's how we are actually finding our support and resistance zones. We're creating support and resistance while we're doing this, right? So that's all I wanted to show you. I mean, end of the day, there are multiple charts that I've got here. you know, I've done multiple drawings, crazy drawings. This is another one. I did some crazy drawings the other day. Projection, if we find a specific, so this was done on this trend line, what would the trend do? And you see, one thing you have to understand when you look at this pattern, right? So this pattern is very important, and this is done, I forgot when I did it, but it was around here. And when we look at these patterns, remember, when it's an upward moving wedge, or whatever you want to call it, a zone, right? So it's moving upwards, right? It's got a slight angle to it. It usually breaks down. We know this, right? If we look at shorter time frames, we do have bullish patterns, but this is how we do all of this, and we can see we calculate based on Fibonacci. So here I wrote a whole bunch of stuff. I said first line of Fib 618 support must hold. You see here, we're actually on this Fibonacci level, right? Last line of support before we go bearish, right? Full bearish. And I'm saying, look, if we go below 38,000, we're going to go bearish, and we may start being there for a long time, right? Last bullish trend support. So this is another trend line that we also need to hold. I'll talk about all of those coins, bro, no worries. So you see how the whole maths and everything works on this, right? So there's a lot of information here that we have to hold, and it's not like, you know, something I'm not just showing. I am showing some of this obviously to my private clients. Is a different story. But ultimately, my charts are always there. They don't change. You know, even some of the really, really old ones are still here as well. You can see. Let me see what this is. Obviously, some of them I don't follow. So we've got longs and shorts and everything is here. Some of them I don't follow, but other, yes. Now, this is a key. Right, so this dominance here, if you're talking about, so you want me to talk about Cardano, Cardano and Sol, I'll definitely talk about it. Two of my most favorite coins, actually, for a very long time, and I've made a ton of money on them. In order for Cardano and Sol to be super, super bullish, we need this to come all the way down to this red box and below. So it is very, very important for us right now that we all ignore what Bitcoin does and we focus on the other altcoins, and we want this line to come down as much as possible, bring it all the way down here if we have to, and then we're going to see these massive, massive moves in the market, right? Or even if we do stay here and we still go up, absolutely fine. What we have to see is massive volumes coming into other altcoins. Very powerful, very important for us. That's how we're going to move forward. Mark Pitty. Hi Mark, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Definitely, yeah. So let's talk about other stuff. Let's move into the thing. Sorry, I got the names wrong. So Faulkner, and I've got Mark asking me a question. So Mark asks, long term, what will this all mean for alts? To be more specific, Cardano and Sol, right? Long term, one thing you have to understand is when Bitcoin dumps, and I kind of demonstrate this here, right? So what I tried to do, because it's harder to show it on a total on a total market cap, obviously it's easy, right? So we're looking at, this is the entire total market cap, and you can see how the total market cap has to particularly hold this support. This is the entire global market cap. When we look at the altcoin, excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin, right, we also see this particular area here. For example, let me just get it on the weekly, for example. You see this particular zone here. We need to break above this zone in order to be bullish. But ultimately, look, we've got a nice little trend. We're holding that trend. We're still moving up. Let the market do its thing. And so far, it's been great. We've broken all-time highs. And this is the entire altcoin market, right? But when we look at coins like Cardano and Solana, for example, right? So let's do Cardano. Let's move over to, what's this? Not this one. Actually, let's just do it on this chart. That's not a problem. Let's get Solana on this chart. So when we're looking at stuff like Solana and everything, long term, they will all suffer. So when I'm talking about stuff like this, so what we mean is when BTC does a nice little 7% dump, you'd see the other guys dump even faster and harder. So very important, you have to understand this. When Bitcoin dumps, right, everything else dumps with it. When Ethereum dumps, everything else dumps with it. You have to understand this, right? The same story. When they start pumping a little bit, you'll see the others pump. So the dumps in the big boys usually affect the small ones a lot, because the sentiment, you know, people start panicking. Folk name, wait for it. I'll answer that question for you, okay? I'll answer that question for you. So this is what you have to understand. When this dumps, it dumps, everything else dump faster. They seem to have a bigger effect, right? Because money moves out. And what happens to the money? And this is very important. So where does the money go? So you see this 7% dump, this 8% dump, or whatever. All of these dumps. Look, the whole market is bloody, right? Where did the money go? That's the key, right? So then what we do, we actually come here and we track the money. Look what the money is. Money never left crypto. Money is sitting in USDC, BUSD, USDK, TUSD, DAI, USDT. Every single USD, even PAX, every single USD coin you can imagine, money's sitting right there, right? So when you look at that, what you see is basically money is sitting in these big major crypto alts, like, you know, the dollar alts. That's where the money's been sitting. Do you know what I mean? So what's that money going to do? Well, the money's going to buy the dip, and that kind of leads into your question, right? If I only have 200, should I buy the dip? Of course you should buy the dip. No financial advice, but be patient. That's what I'm saying. Observe the market for what it is. Is the market going to reverse? Absolutely. In fact, I think right now, remember what I just said, right? So if we go back here, right, and this is a very important, so let's bring, not this one, BTCD. No, we want to go back to that one. Yeah, let's bring this one for a second. Let's just bring this one. So we're on the daily. What we're seeing on the daily is now we broke this resistance, right? This support, we broke this, and we're now moving up to this particular level here. If we can go back to this level and hold this on a daily, we should do okay. Now, if you're looking at a shorter time frame, and we're going to do a deep analysis on this, right? So you'll understand what's going on, right? So on a shorter time frame, absolutely, bulls came back in to protect this. Super solid, right? What we also need to understand is, are we actually still bullish, and is the money going back into this? So in order to do this, I'm going to take you to one other chart here. Is BTC going to recover very fast? Let's refresh. No, look, more BTC has been added to exchanges. When BTC is added to exchanges, it obviously means there's a dump. Ethereum, however, looks kind of bullish. We've got 72,000 Ethereum leaving exchanges. So we know when money enters exchanges, right? When BTC enters exchanges, people want to sell. When USDT enters and all of this coins enter the market, they want to buy. These are getting ready to buy. When these coins enter, they're getting ready to sell. Now, there are some cases where they are entering the market not to sell. They are actually entering probably for staking or anything. So we have to be a bit careful. But BTC, people don't stake BTC. They don't risk their BTC on a staking protocol that could get hacked, right? You know, when we talk about hacks, we just had another news about some $11 million hack, right? So no one's going to risk that, especially this amount. No. Big boys don't risk this kind of amount, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to just sell it to the people. Also, another good news is, like, we've had a 3-year low of the BTC supply on exchanges, right? Which is really awesome. And the other thing we've seen is USDT moving out of exchanges has been, I think it's a 1-year low or something like this. So a lot of USDT is sitting on exchanges right now. These are sharks waiting to basically eat those small fishes, you know, all the retail that are going to panic and sell. So that's what I'm looking at. I mean, money moving in, money moving out, because we need to observe all of this, right? You know, how many money's going out, how many money's going in. Also, another metric I saw earlier on, but I can't actually show you because it's actually on my phone. This is a really good one. Let me just tell you who posted it. Someone posted it to me. Let me just check who posted it to me, then I will be able to tell you. Because what they mentioned was something really nice, right? They said, if you look carefully, how many BTC entered last night. So this was last night, right? How many BTC entered and how many BTC left. It will give you a clear indication of exactly what's going on. Let's see which one it is. I'll read it out to you. Sorry, give me a second, because I get so many of these links sent out to me sometimes. So Coinbase just posted something. Coinbase Institutional will be launching Coinbase Prime to all institutions. The tool and services to invest. So basically more similar to what what do you call this? What Grayscale, BTC, and everybody do. Something very similar to that. That's what they're trying to do. Coinbase is, yeah, so that's Coinbase. I don't want to talk about that. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, so here's another good one. The number of USDT withdrawal from exchanges in the last 7 day reached a 19-month low. So you can see this is also confirming people are not taking their USDT off exchanges. They're keeping it there. All right, here this was yesterday, so this is funny, right? $622 million in BTC entered the exchange and $697 million left. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So the small amount of BTC entered, larger amounts left, and we're still seeing a market dump. This is changing hands. This is what it's doing, right? So, but we do know that these are impacting the prices because these are small quantities compared to what the big boys are playing. Do you know what I mean? So, I hope all of this kind of makes sense to you, right? So yeah, I mean, listen. Exactly, Mark and Folk, I believe your questions are pretty much the same, right? Just wait patiently, wait for a few hours, see what's going on, because all of this is still telling us that a dump is still going to continue. We might actually have these failed supports, right? So when we look at this area, where are we? Sorry, I put it on this one. Yeah. So when we look at these area on a shorter time frame, we do think the market is going in and out, right? We understand all of this, but we need to look at mean ratios and see, okay, what's the actual market? What's the real? So let me just show you. I'll just show it to you. It's easier for me to just show it to you guys. Hold on one second. Here we go. What's the actual volume? Sorry. There you go. What's the actual volume in the market, right? So we're looking for volume right now. So $12.5 billion is the real volume, the mean volume of the entire global market cap for Bitcoin. Here you see 122 billion. But out of that, remember, some of it is liquidation, some of that is buying, some of that is selling. It's not giving you the true market. Also, when you look at the volume here, 38, this is not the true volume. So when you want the true volume, for example, what I said to you, 600 and something million dollars entered the market and 697 left the market. When you use that metric, you can see half entered and half exited. And then out of that, the true volume, which we can see on chain. So when we go back to on chain, we can see on chain is telling us that actually the true mean volume was only $12.5 billion, right? So we are able to track this and say, this is not the real volume. The real volume is nothing. It's pathetic. When you've got a market cap sitting at $1.9 trillion and you're only trading what, 12 billion? That's nothing. So we can see that these are microtransactions manipulating the system. Ultimately, everybody wants a nice little dip, you know, and they want to pick it up and they want to move forward. So yeah, I was going to move over to other stuff. I don't know why I'm getting distracted. Solana. Let's go into Solana. So Solana is suffering the same thing as the entire market and does that every single time. However, I think Solana is going to have a nice little recovery at some point, right? So what we need is the market to actually settle down. So right now, a lot of panics, a lot of sales, a lot of stuff because of a lot of liquidity. Remember what I said? You can see here, a lot of these top 9 coins have been suffering quite a bit. This is where all the trading action has been happening, right? So we can see massive trading action has been happening around here. They got wrecked, full stop. Over bullish, over thing. This is what happens when this happens, right? Okay, good question. No, it's not a trick question. It's a great question. If I was to drop a Solana and a Cardano comparison here, I'm bullish on both of them, right? In fact, I've been more bullish on Cardano than Solana. So Cardano, and let me see if I can find that data for you. Give me a second, because I'm sure I posted something somewhere. Hold on, let me see if I've got it. Because I did post something here, guys. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find this. You're going to love this one. Because you know we can track all the Cardano stuff. Let me see. I'm sure I've posted it here. we can track Cardano, all the projects on Cardano. That's what we need to do. We need to be able to track those things. Not this. Let's have a look. Because we can actually track the all the projects and all the smart contracts that are actually on Cardano right now. Of course, they're not active yet, so it's a matter of when they will activate. That's the key. Here, look, I did post it. I just want to show you, so you can see. All right, let it fetch its data. Here you can see we've got 3,562 smart contracts, right, already on the Cardano's smart contract platform, right, including time lock scripts. Now what it is, a lot of the developers are blocking their spots, the allocations, their you know, where they want to launch. They're blocking that area, and they're obviously putting Cardano down to launch. So until they are ready, these are all time locked. This is awesome. So when you see this, like, you know, these including time blocks, Mary era scripts to mint tokens and NFTs. So we can see that we've got 3,562 on the network right now, ready to deploy any given time. So this is the thing that I'm thinking with Cardano is going to shock everybody. Now with Solana, Solana's had his run. Solana, I've never been over bullish. I've never said Solana could actually go to, I mean, it might have possibly go pump over to big numbers, but Solana does have well, look, if you've bought it at $130, I think Solana is going to recover, because remember, when we look at patterns, we have to also observe one pattern, right? Number one is market momentum, right? If you know how to do a stop loss, I would say put a stop loss, so at least you take some profit. So if it comes down to say 135, take a stop loss, get out, because if it comes to 135, it will go down even further. And we have seen these kind of dips, as you can see here. We went all the way down to 127. So put a stop loss down if you want, if you don't want to risk your funds. Or wait for a 6-month long bear market, because that's what's going to be, right? If we do enter a bear market, it will be a long bear market, like 6 months. So you have to have the, you know, ability to be able to hold during that bear market. If you can, then that would be what you need to see, right? So as long as the market momentum is still moving up, Solana is about to do what the, you know, how the waves work, right? So remember, we have these waves. And I'll show you what I mean, right? So for example, we have this wave. We come down, we go up, we come down, and then we might go up again, right? We have these waves. Ultimately, these markets, we have mini waves, multiple waves. So this could be another wave, a leg down and before up, you know. And so far, this is what Bitcoin is telling me, right? When I look at Bitcoin and when I look at that chart, where did I have it? This one? This one? Sorry, I've got it here somewhere. No. No. Huh? I lost it? Oh, there it is. My bad. So we do have a leg up. We're going to have a leg down, right? It's very simple. We're going to have a leg down, right? Let's move over to Cardano now. Let's move over to Cardano. So Solana, I think, is going to just follow the market for a little bit until the market kind of settled down. And then we're going to see what Solana did recently, where all the pump went into Solana. So Solana's got a little bit room to grow. So let's see what Solana does. But remember, guys, if you're in one of these pumps and, you know, you bought on you're super bullish or something like this, and you bought during a pump, remember, you have to always take your profits out. For me, I've mentioned one thing. I said with Cardano, my risk is so low, I'm not bothered, because I bought Cardano when it was 6 cents, when it was 10 cents, and I think the last amount I bought was when it was about 15 cents. So for me, Cardano, until it goes back to like 15 cents, it doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm giving it room to grow. So let's see what that does. Solana has been out. It's been partnering with a few institutions and everything as well, because of their what you call this, the speed they have. Now they may be centralized. A lot of people say, do you know what, they may be centralized. Maybe they are. I don't care. I'm in it for the money. So end of the day, if I can make money, I'm good. And also Solana, I entered when it was like about $1. So for me, I'm a happy dude. End of the day, I'm not really complaining. I just want to see everything move up. But Cardano, again, suffering from this is just how the market's been. If you look carefully, it's just following the market, nothing more. Of course, there's a lot of FUD and everything, but ultimately following the market. And I think, again, momentum up, Solana, Cardano would do the same. And if you're asking me if you were to put what portion into what, I would, for me, I would personally put a little bit more into Cardano and a little bit less. So I would say I'll put about 60% into Cardano and 40% of a $10. So I'll put $6 into Cardano and I'll put $4 into Solana, right? Because Solana's already done its thing. You see, this is what I'm trying to say here. Solana has already done its thing, right? So when we go back to Sol, you can see what I'm trying to say. Cardano came from 3 cents. Actually, while we're here, let's show you this, right? Let's bring it to longer data. So Cardano itself came from here with literally nothing. It was like 1, 2 cents, 3 cents, I remember. So Cardano went from 3 cents to $3, or close enough to $3, right? So we went to $3, right? $3.17 or whatever, according to this. $3, right? Solana did pretty much the same thing and more. So this is what you have to understand. Market was hot, and I was warning people. I said, guys, market is hot, be careful. So this is what Solana did, right? Again, if you go back into this and see the time frame, so Solana launched at around $3, dumped all the way to about $1, and then Solana's now come to this what was it? What was the high? $216, right? So you're seeing this similar level of pump. Of course, Solana being at that dollar range compared to Cardano being at that few cents range. Solana has the potential to go to $300, $400, $500, maybe in the future even more, as long as we can see adoption. So definitely there's use case there for a network with some high throughput, right? Definitely. And Cardano is a challenger. Obviously, Solana beat them to the race, even though Cardano's been established longer, technically. And I think they're both equally okay. It's just a matter of who comes out with what. This one's already front run everybody with their smart contracts, with their fees and everything. So they had a lot of attention going into them, a lot of news going into them. And right now the news has died out, and a lot of profit taking has happened as usual. Okay, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back. So I'm just waiting for this one, because a lot of institutions are involved with this one, like FTX. They chose this as a blockchain as well. Almedia Research. What's the other one? Pantera Capital. These are big name companies invested into this. Mark, if you bought it for a year, bro, this is awesome, right? Our advice in crypto, no financial advice obviously, but we always say to people, the best thing to do is always have a mindset, right? So your mind, it's not the facts. Your mind should be set up to be able to hold for 5 years. And then we say, if you make money in 5 minutes, get the hell out, right? Because the idea is, you want to buy the dips or whatever, rather than you constantly pumping money into the system, what you need to do is be able to have your initial investment out and then pick up the dip that way. Do you know what I mean? So that's easier. So your initial investment is what you're recycling, not the profits. And let the profits go to the moon if you can, right? But this is all one way to kind of manage your risk. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to say here. And then somebody actually, look, this kind of relates as well. People are asking me, what's the best coin to put in, right? And some guys are asking me, like, what's the best coin to put kind of like $100 in? You're going to be shocked when I say this, right? And you'll understand why. I actually tell people, if you are going to put like $1, put it into this. I'm not even joking. $100, put it into this. I tell people, you want to put $100, put it into this coin. It might be the shittest coin out there. It's probably the coin that I've said is a scam, right? And I've even myself, I've never ever done this, right? I FOMO'd into this particular coin as well. Now, why? Because Shiba, it's just one of those weird coins. There's so much connection, so much news surrounding it. They're doing so many different innovations, right? And, they're being listed on every single cryptocurrency exchange. That's hilarious. How is that possible, right? And it gets even more insane when you have, and this is something brother KR forwarded to me. Let's find them. Right. Let me show you this. You're going to laugh your head off. You're going to laugh your head off. So this is Coinbase, the Twitter account. They've been around since May. They've got 3.3 million followers, people following them, including myself. And if you look at all the tweets and retweets they've been doing, all right, obviously forget that. Mainnet OS, forget that. Shiba. This is Coinbase. And what we've noticed is Coinbase has never ever pumped Shiba, or sorry, any crypto news over and over again. They've never even mentioned BTC as many times as they have with Shiba on a consecutive time, right? And you can see Shiba, again Shiba, right? This is another one that they're going to be launching. They've already launched it. Zen, right? Okay, fine. Shiba. It just gets in. Look, SHIB, right? This is what when I'm seeing all of this. It's just screaming to me something's not right. I mean, this is, you know, Flocky, Elon Musk talking about it. But Shiba, when we're looking at all of this, how many times, you know, Coinbase has mentioned Shiba, it doesn't make any sense to me. And by the way, this, right, Mr. Beast sweepstakes, they're partnering with Mr. Beast. So they're trying to pump it on Mr. Beast. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at all of this, something is not right. I've seen all of this and it kind of freaks me out looking at this. And then when you look at who they're following, get ready. Look at this, guys. The only project this Twitter account has ever followed since 2012 is Shiba. Why? Somebody tell me something. Why? So this kind of takes me back to this Shiba thing. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you. I don't know who Satoshi is. But what I do know, pictures have emerged with him walking in a park with Vitalik Buterin and the founder of Matic, all three of them walking around together. And when I say all three of them, look at the news that we've had previously regarding all three of them. Do you see what I mean? So these three are involved in something. This coin, there's something there. Right? I think they're going to be they've mentioned they're going to be launching their own blockchain. They're moving off the Ethereum blockchain. Obviously, what they're doing is they're forking the Ethereum blockchain, configuring it a little bit more to make it more nice, and they're making their own blockchain, which is awesome. It's not that hard. You just need a bit of money and you can do it, right? But that's what they're doing. So they're changing things. They're doing a lot of stuff. Like the other day, Sushi Shop got hacked, $3 million. Satoshi came back and he says, well, Shiba Swap is actually a lot more safer. So they're definitely, there's a big army out there. There's a lot of pumping out. There's a lot of coins out there. And they are destroying coins as well. So something's not right. That's what I'm saying. Why would you have the largest cryptocurrency exchanges on the planet interested in Shiba? And then you have this one, the oldest, one of the oldest since 2012, following only Shiba? I mean, this is just insane. Out of 3.3 million, they've never followed anybody. They follow Shiba. Guys, somebody tell me. Something's not right here. So if you are going to spend $100, no financial advice, obviously, but I would say just throw it into this and forget about it for the next 5 years. Do you know what I mean? Because $100 will buy you like 1 million coins or 1 billion coins. God knows how many coins you buy. And then just sit on it. This one, I think, is going to make some crazy moves. And Coinbase knows about it. Coinbase is involved. Right? If Coinbase is involved, eToro is involved, Webull is involved, all of these guys are involved. This thing is about to make some sort of a massive move, right? Massive move. This is just insane. This is just absolutely insane, guys. That's what I want to say, right? So yeah, you know, Cardano, as I said, if I was going to put my money into Cardano or Solana, out of those two, then I'll put it into Cardano, 60%, 40% into Solana. Happy days, let them both go to where they need to go. However, if I was to not choose either of them, then I'll just dump my $100 into this and just forget about it. Even $10 if you can, right? And you can buy $10 worth. In fact, I think you can buy $1 worth on Coinbase, right? So just go there, buy Happy Days, sit on it and relax, right? Relax. And also, a lot of the guys who follow me on this channel from way back in the days, they all know that since we've come into this zone, I've been telling a lot of people to start scaling out of some of their alts if they can. You know, not to FOMO too much because the market doesn't look too good, right? Obviously, with Ethereum, we almost went there. All we have to do with Ethereum is really, and we're so close, guys, we're so close. With Ethereum, all we have to do is break this neckline here, this $4,200 level. If we break this neckline, then we're off to the races and the bull run continues, right? And in that reason, I want to bring in this one as well. And for Bitcoin, I've also mentioned as well, I said for Bitcoin, all we have to do is break this one neckline here, this $58,000 neckline. If we can go above this, even one candle, market sentiment changes, we continue the bull run. If we can't test this, then we are coming down, guys. So ultimately, you do have to be aware of this kind of patterns. Another one I want to talk about is DOT. DOT is one of those coins that's been sitting around doing absolutely fuck all. Excuse my language, but that's what's going on. Doing nothing, right? But I know the fact DOT is not ready. And I also know the fact that money has not filtered in. Now, I'm expecting what everybody else is not expecting. Because remember, when market sentiment, when people see this pump, then the money moves into this. Stone one. Oh, bro, you've been sitting there all this time. Happy days, man. Thank you very much, bro. I hope everything was helpful, man. Awesome, man. Thank you. Really, you ninja. So yeah, I mean, when we're looking at all of this, right, when we see the money moving back into any one of these coins, we're going to start seeing the FOMO kicking, and the FOMO will be budget related. So that means some people who got big budgets will jump into this. Slightly smaller budgets will go into this, and so on so forth. The money will filter in. And I think when the whales realize that the money is moving back in, the whales are going to create a situation where they're going to start pumping this. Because all they have to, even here, if they pump it here to here, I'll give you a good example of this, right? Very important things to understand. So just for example, right now, if they bought it here and they pumped it just up to there, that's 15%. Whales don't play around with 100,000, 200,000. They're talking about millions, 100 million. So if a whale can put 100 million here and make 15% from FOMO, getting people to FOMO in, obviously not you, not me, because we are hodlers. We don't lose money. We buy the dip, we hodl, and we make even more money, right? But retail investors or anybody who's stupid enough to enter without actually observing that this coin is being manipulated and pumped, purposefully, they don't know this, and they're going to basically give the whales 15%. That's what's going to happen. And whales could even make more, because if the pump continues to go up, then why not make more? You know what I mean? So this is what it is. We're gonna see when everybody's not expecting Polkadot to pump. They're gonna come in. The whales are gonna come in. They're gonna pump this just like the way they pumped Solana, exactly the same way they pumped eGold very recently. We'll talk about eGold as well. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna pump it, move it up, cash out on you, and then create this wave. So remember the waves we talk about. They're very important waves. All right. So if we draw the wave here, so for example, if we look at this area here, for example, like this, all right, we've got this wave, and we're going to see this come out, and then we're going to do this, right? And this is going to be all how the whales do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's how it's going to move up. Let's move over to another one. Solana. I did have Solana here, actually, but no point. So we've talked about Solana here as well. We're going to see another wave up. Let's hope we can. I mean, with Solana, one of the best things is, well, not the best, worst thing, I would say. Guys, this is a Solana fact that you all need to see. All need to see. Solana fact. If you are going to invest into Solana, you have to keep this in mind, whatever you do, because if you don't, you are going to get wrecked. All right. So this is very important. Let me throw this in there for you. So you see this particular week here. So what I'm looking at, right? So I'm not focusing on the right side. I'm focusing on this 3 here. So what you see here is this 3. We had this resistance here and this support here on this particular 3 candles on a daily. You can see. So this would be a zone that we need to look at. But when we go into a slightly higher time frame, we need to find a actual support zone. And you can see this is not a support zone. On the weekly, and this is why I said it's like not the best case scenario, it's actually the worst case scenario. This zone here is actually the support. So you see what I mean? It went so parabolic, it did not create a single support, right? Until here, it did not create a single support. So if we fall below this support, it's bad. And this is what going parabolic does for us, right? So we need to always make sure we create enough ranges where we do 2 or 3 days sideways to create lovely support. So here we've got another mini support, for example, and I'll show you these, right? These are very important. So you need a few candles basically for you to get yourself a nice little support zone. So here's a nice little support zone, but very tiny. right? If you look here, for example, we've got this another support zone here, but actually pretty strong. So this is not that bad. This is stronger than this. And you can see from the actual way we drew the box, how thick these boxes are, and they all represent which one is strong and which one is not. Do you know what I mean? So I hope this kind of makes sense to you, right? You know, we have to build support whenever we go somewhere, so that in the future we can come and protect ourselves there, you know. Which one's this? We've talked about Cardano already, so nothing to talk about here. E-gold, right? E-gold I've mentioned. I'm sure if Bubble's here, he would know. Bubble's always here. I'm sure Bubble's hiding somewhere. I told Bubble, we're coming back to this line, and a $210 would be a lovely level to buy. We broke below this, the 210, you can see, and currently we're sitting at $198. But this was the zone I kept on mentioning. Even when we were down here, I kept on saying the 210 would be a really, really good accumulation zone. And ultimately, this is not bad, right? And I'll show you what this has done. So we had this lovely little trend line forming here. Currently, what it's done is just move the trend line here. That's what it's done. It's actually moved the trend line. So if you look, we still got 1, 2, 3 touch points here, right? It's actually moved the trend line here. And remember what I always say as well, guys. Whenever we have if we go up like this, you know, on a trend line, that's very bad. What we need to do is go sideways like this, like in a slightly sloping angle, upward angle. That's the one that's the most healthiest and gives us the better returns. It's a lot more stable because it's a lot more stronger. Now, talking about e-gold strength, there's a lot. E-gold has been doing these very good compared to Solana. Sorry to say this, but it's true, even though I'm a Solana bull. I actually hold more Solana than e-gold, but I'm just being honest with you. So again, here, for example, there's a lovely little range here. There's quite a big range here. So you see, if you look here, you've got this lovely zone here. So you're looking at all of this, and you can see how it's created this mini support zone here. It's created a massive support zone here. And these are the kind of data we want to see. Do you know what I mean? These are the kind of data we want to see. In fact, I just realized another one here as well. So this has been a long term. So this is a longer time support. If you look carefully, this range here is an absolute longer time support. And this, because it's longer data, is a lot more stronger data, right? This is second strong, and this is the thing. So we can see how we've built these areas here. E-gold, I think it's just found its rebound. That was it. It's this correction. Now e-gold goes forward. Also on e-gold, I want to talk about another thing. Remember, e-gold only has 31 million coins. So that's super bullish in my opinion, because they're kind of following what BTC has been doing, and that gives it an opportunity to pump, you know. And this is no financial advice, but I've also mentioned that this could easily pump to $1,000, if not even more. Just got to hodl onto it. There's a lot of news around it as well, of course. But you know what, leave the news aside, just the coin itself, what they're doing, I think that's awesome more than anything else. Forget the partnership, forget everything, right? When you just look at the coin for what it is, this coin is doing awesome. And I'm trying to find it. Give me a second, guys. I know it's here somewhere. Or did I miss it? Oh, let me just double check. Where's Elrond gone? Elrond, here we are, right? So when you're looking at Elrond, what you see is this here, for example. Look, there's only 31 million Elrond, and approximately almost close to 20 million has already gone. So there's only 10 million remaining for us to fight through. True USD. Okay, let me read some of these chats, okay? I know there's a lot. I'm going to go back to the top and I'm going to read again. Guys, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. I mean, you can't smash it. You can only do it once. Hit that like button. And let's grow this community and move forward with this, right? Okay, okay, Shiba, haha, sit on it and relax. Is this the same advice for Solana question? No. Solana is going to only follow. So this is Mark Petit. Mark, with Solana, Cardano, and all the major coins, as long as the market is still in a bull cycle, we're going to do awesome. If we're not in a bull cycle, we're going to a bear market, everything will come down with it. They will all follow BTC. Right, currently doesn't matter how many people say that BTC, you know, the other altcoins are not kind of pegged to BTC. Of course, they're not pegged to BTC. No one is pegged to BTC. They have their own independent price. And but they are correlated. That means when BTC makes a move, those altcoins also make a move, right? That's what you have to understand. If the sentiment in BTC is positive and BTC doesn't change a dollar, it's fine. The other coins will pump hard. But if the sentiment in BTC changes, then everything else also changes. It is currently the market leader. And for us to evaluate how a market leader works is very simple. If you look at the total market cap, right, which is $1.9 trillion, out of that, almost 0.9, so half of that is BTC. So if the sentiment here changes, you can see how it can drag the market down. So it's very important to understand how this can affect the entire market. Of course, in the future, this might not be the king. This might not, something else might take over, and then we'll follow and observe how those two. So currently, these two are the market leaders. You can see, combined together, there's about 1.2 trillion dollars, locked into these two, and that's pretty much 2/3 of the market if you look carefully, almost close to 2/3, but that's what's happening. What we can say 3/5, right? Whatever you want to call it, but ultimately that's what we got. So you do have to respect that. But Shiba's one of those, because it's a penny coin. It's literally valued at nothing at this present moment. I've got a feeling it's going to do something quite awesome very soon. Also, another coin, I don't normally promote it because obviously, I'm not affiliated with them or anything like this. And Richard Hart, I don't talk to him. We're not enemies or anything like this. We're just not friends or anything either. But I don't talk to him. But his coin, Hex Coin, that's been getting a lot of pump and everything. And when he designed it, he did say he designed it to only pump one direction. So I don't know. I'm not going to give you financial advice. It may be worth good. If you're going to put $100 anywhere, then I would say put $10 into that. You know what I mean? So just in case it does something. But he is changing because he's now moving over to Pulse Chain, which I'm not sure when it launches. When Pulse Chain comes, then we'll see what it does. So yeah, Shiba is different. $100. You're going to be willing. You have to be willing to lose $100, but in the future, if it makes a move, if it does what do you call Doge, if it does a Doge on us, right, then $100 could make you easily a millionaire. I've seen this before. There are people who have invested $100 and actually made $1 million very recently with Doge. So that's something to understand. But you just got to be able to have your risk management, and some coins when you invest like Shiba, if you invested $100, you got to be willing to throw that $100 away. That's all you have to do. Just throw it away and then forget about it, because that's the easiest way to do things. And obviously, if you're super bullish on a project for the future, like I am for Bitcoin, I don't keep it on exchanges. I just move it off. I don't want to look at the price. You know what I mean? So when these price pump, they don't bother me. I get more bothered about the coins that I have on the exchange, which I can see the price, all right? Or especially when I'm talking to you guys. But you know what? When it comes to Bitcoin, I ignore all of this. None of this matters to me. The only time I am afraid is when we go up to these top levels, right? So BTC, I'm the complete opposite. You'll never find anybody like me. I'm telling you, I am afraid when we go to these levels. This is when I start looking at my BTC balance, because I need to cash out and get ready to buy here. When we're below this blue line here, this median line here, for me, it doesn't matter. I don't care what price BTC is or anything like this. I'm not looking at the price. It doesn't bother me, pump or dump, because all of this is a great area. Because when we do these parabolic moves, these areas we don't really do much. These are massive moves. The percentages are just ridiculous on these levels here, and they can catch you out, so you never know when to cash out. And this is why I observe around these levels, and normally around this line here. So I don't even go to the top. Normally around here, I usually cash out everything and then sit on USDT and then wait for the market to come back down here. But what I do, like on this cycle, because of the way the market's been working, I said on this cycle, what I'm going to do is probably sell 50% here and then start selling other than 50% up to here to see if the market continues, because we might even go further. So if we go even up, even higher, I don't want to lose out. So I'm going to sell 50% here. That's enough for me. Go down there. And if 50% here, for example, if we ended up getting a 50% correction, then the money I've just taken from here, I can double up down here and come back again. Do you know what I mean? So either way, this is how you have to sometimes just look at the market and see how things work. So that's that. True USD. You talking about Terra Luna. Terra Luna is a different beast, right? Terra Luna is a different beast. Look, let me show you. I'm hoping this is the one, right? Because there's quite a few of them. So there's two. There's um, Stone one. Can you tell me which one I'm looking at? So there's two here. There's Terra, which is Luna, I know that, and then there's True USD. There's two of them. So tell me which one am I looking at? The Terra or the True? Tell me if I'm looking at Terra or if I'm looking at True. Which one am I looking at? Because this one here, I don't know much about it. I'll double check that. I believe this one was made by Hubi or something like this. Let me double check who this is, because I know there's a lot of them. Give me a second. Okay, so True USD is based on the Trust token. Okay, so that's just the USD dollar. I'm not going to be looking too much into that. It's just a dollar. I mean, it's always going to be a dollar. So all that, I don't think that's going to basically do any difference for us. They're just going to mint more to demand, or, you know, burn if there's no demand. That's what these USD coins do. But when we're looking at Terra USD, now that's a different story. Okay, hold on. All right, Terra Luna. When we're looking at Terra USD, that's a whole different ball game, right? And why, I'll explain. Because every Terra USD you print, you have to destroy your Luna. So the Terra USD doesn't actually give us any value to the Luna ecosystem directly. However, it does give it to us indirectly, right? And this is where Luna comes in, right? So Terra Luna, we do, sorry, just do Luna, right? So when we're looking at Terra Luna, we will get some massive benefits, okay, based on this. So for example, Luna currently sitting at this price. Let's have a look. How many coins on circulation? Here, right? So, all right, sorry, I just thought I saw something. This is what the current supply is showing anyway. Let's just leave that there. But ultimately what we're seeing is, if people are burning Luna, and I'll tell you why the if statement comes in, right? Because on the Luna ecosystem, you've got the Terra Luna Station, or whatever they call it, right? You can go there and you can burn your Luna tokens, print some UST, right? Whichever one they call it the Terra Luna USD peg coin. And then you can actually yield farm with your Terra Luna tokens and get a 20% yield, right? So they are actually incentivizing you to destroy your Luna to make USD, which is a stupid coin, and then earn 20% on that. And it's a good model, because what it does is basically you are destroying the supply purposely, because you're greedy. They know that greed is the driver. So a lot of people are greedy. This is what drives them. So if they know they can make 20% by converting, but destroying this and making it into USDT or whatever, and then earning yield on it, they're going to do that. And this reduces the supply. It doesn't add to the value, but what it does is indirectly pumps this price, because the supply is now reducing. You know, and while the supply is reducing, obviously you don't make anything. So if you sold this at, say for example, today you sold this at $30, and tomorrow this pumps to $600, and if you converted this for $30 to your USD, you only got $30. So you want to make 20%, you're going to make $6 on that on an annual basis. You're going to make $6, happy day. So you sold it for 30 for USD, you made 20%, so you got yourself $6. But this coin, because of what you did, has now pumped to $60. So I'm better off holding this and letting everybody else who's greedy take that 20%, because that's all they're getting, 20%, while I'm making more, because you are pumping the price of this. So I'm extra bullish on this, super bullish. I'm going to pick up some more at some stage, not today, not now, but definitely going to pick up some more. So this is where, for me, Terra Luna, True, I've got a feeling you're talking about Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet, if it is, these are, I wouldn't really, I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, of course, other than these USD coins and yield farming, there's actually nothing else. So if you're going to yield farm, go ahead, do that. But they are very risky, so please be careful, because, you know, we're seeing regular hacks happening because somebody's picked up. For example, here, look, DeFi bridging protocol P network suffers 12 million hack. We had what was his name? Here, for example, Sushi had a hack, right? Solana had a 400,000 TPS kind of. I would say, you know, that was somebody messing around with it. So that was another one. So you can see a lot of shit is happening right now. A lot is happening right now. So just got to be careful, and especially when I'm putting my crypto onto a platform that is trustless. Obviously, it's based on code. Even those robust codes are breaking down. So yeah, I mean that you got to really understand what's going on. Sorry, yeah. So yeah, guys, I mean that's what you could understand. Ultimately, money's flowing into this. Money's going to come out at some point. When you look at the biggest losers, you see these big losers. Money is coming out of these, by the way, guys. So all of these coins that pumped recently, you can see money's coming out of these, including Bitcoin and everything, and now going into something else. So yeah, I mean, Stone, I hope you understood. USDT is good, right? But it's good only for one thing, in my opinion. That's just my way of thinking. I want USDT when I'm here. I don't care about the 20% yield, 50% yield, or even some scammers are showing you 200% yield. I don't want any of that yield farming business, right? I'm not interested in farming or any of these DeFi products out there. You know, to the point where I'll give you a good example. I've got some BTC and Ethereum sitting on there's a platform I talk about, Nexo. I believe the link is in the video description. No, I don't know. It's not there. It's on Discord, actually. Sorry. So Nexo is one that I promote, and I've got some funds sitting in there, like, you know, BTC, Ethereum. I can borrow 50% of whatever I have. Now, I would definitely borrow right now on a dip, right? So I'll borrow it during a dip if I know the market's going up, 50% of that, and use that 50% to go and buy those two assets again. So go and buy some more Ethereum, go and buy some more Bitcoin, for example. That's the only USD that I'm going to be involved with, and I let the market pump it up. So I have larger quantity. I borrowed money at a low rate. I pump it up to here. I sell it, come back into USDT, pay the loan off or whatever, come back to the dip and buy some more. You know what I mean? It's all about accumulation, but also all about how to increase your portfolio. So it's not about profits or anything. It's not about greed. For me, that's why I don't really follow yield farming. I don't do yield farming. I've seen so many offers like 20%, 30%. I'm like, not interested. Also on Discord, I get so many people contacting me. Oh, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. And this is sadly what happened on Telegram, which is why I stopped it. And I'll show you what I mean, right? You see, hold on. Let me show you. Where is it? Not this one. Oh, here, for example, direct messages, right? I don't know who that is, right? I don't know who that is. It sent me a message. Wow, claim your free BTC. You real? Why would I want free? Who gives free BTC, right? Sign up on, and look at this name, SLAXExchanger24.com. Seriously, you think I'm an idiot? I'm going to fall for this stuff? This is the reality, guys. So be careful. So this is one who's definitely spam. So I'm going to report him as a spam, right? I don't want to win anything with you, mate. Sorry, thank you. And here's another one, for example. And you'll see my reply to him. What did he say? 10,000 adorable NFT, whatever. He wants me to join. I'm like, why would I want to join? Why are you sending me a message for? But this is what happens when these guys find the links. But luckily, they can only message me directly, which is good. And obviously, if I know someone, then I do verify them and move forward from there. So again, you get quite a lot of this. In fact, to the point where I talked about Nexo. Nexo sent me an email, pretty nice email. They want me to work with them as an ambassador. So I said to them, and I saw the details, and I said, look, guys, it's all great working as an ambassador in XYZ, but I've got my own YouTube channel. I can probably do a channel partnership, but other than that, I'm not interested in working for you because I have my own plenty of stuff on my table. So that's what it is. But other than that, guys, I'm not going to make this any longer. I hope this was informative. I hope you found information. I hope you understand that, look, guys, yes, we have these September months, but whenever we have it on a positive run, and I'm back, that's why I came back to this. I completely forgot why I came back to this. So historically, you can see during a bull run, we do have these September months where we dip down a little bit, but after that we do go parabolic, right? And it doesn't matter what time of the season is, even, you know, as you can see, this was like just after a bear market where a bull market started. You can see the same situation. Just after the September month, we end up going pumping, right? Only time we don't pump is during an official bear market, right? So if this area here, this 29 area is similar to this 21 area, then of course this could push it down even further. So just be careful for that. That's all I'm saying. If not, then we can easily push up, and as long as the momentum is moving up and the market sentiment is up, and we don't know. This is the true fact of the story. We don't know if the sentiment is still up, because so far everything is indicating to us that we do want to go down. Right? Let me bring another chart for you. Because remember, so far everything is indicating that the market wants to go down. So if the market wants to go down, and we're looking at right, we're looking at this stochastic RSI, right, and this is all we're going to use. We don't need anything else, right? When you're looking at the RSI and say RSI on the daily, saying okay, we are going down a little bit more, so great buy order, fine. But when you're looking at the higher time frame, this is shouting and screaming, we need to come down. This is shouting and screaming, we need to come down. So we need to listen. When it's shouting at us, we need to listen. However, we can see there are, you know, like the monthly is showing us that, look, we could be here for another 1 or 2 months. Ultimately, we could be bullish. So these are long time frames. You can see these are extremely long time frames. When we're down these zones, we can sit around here for a good few months, and then we make that move. So that's the question. Are you ready for this one move, or are you just going to FOMO in right now? And if you are going to FOMO in right now, are you prepared to be in it for another 5 years? It could be 5 minutes, but ultimately, are you prepared psychologically, mentally to be in it for 5 years? That's the key. So if you are prepared to be in it for 5 years, my advice is buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Right? But if not, then stay out of it. Just wait for it. Let it come back down to where it needs to be, because everything is pointing it is going to come down a little bit more. Right? And overall, as I said, monthly is a different story. We are going to go parabolic at some stage. That's what I'm looking for. And this is awesome, by the way. You know, this line here, when we crossed this line here and came down here, this made us more super bullish than anything else. So just keep an eye on it. So I'm going to say, obviously, I'm going to keep you guys updated pretty much every other day. So you'll obviously be updated and you know exactly what's going on, and we can move forward from there. So yeah, other than that, you can see the story. I hope this was informative. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I know some people are leaving the stream because I think it got a bit boring right now. The point is, end of the day, we're here, guys. Right, we're going to stick together. Like, share, subscribe, smash that like button. That really helps. And obviously, I'm going to catch you guys on another one very soon. And I hope everybody got an answer to what they asked. I do try to ask answer as many questions as possible, and try and give you some logical sense on what I think and what I believe. Right, like, you know, for example, what would I buy? I already mentioned it. Thoughts on True USD, mentioned it. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely do this, and that's what I like to do. I like to work with the community and try and answer their questions, obviously, as long as the chat is there. So yeah, other than that, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos. It's been an absolute pleasure. So I'll see you around again soon. Thank you very much.